What's up, YouTube? Back in the garage shop again, working on the 92 GMC LS swap harness over here. Got the motor over there, got the transmission for it. If you guys not familiar with this swap and the parts, go ahead and check these videos out. But yeah, we are working on a 05 stock engine harness. I went through and took out all of the emission stuff that I'm not going to be running. Pretty much bundled everything up, cut everything out of this already had wires for the electric fans, but I went ahead and added different ones because I took them and put them over here, saved the plug and everything. And this is the harness all separated from the front harness because we're doing electric fan conversion on my 03 Silverado when I put the bigger radiator in with a set of E-fans right there. But really getting a little sidetracked there. But yeah, this is how I got it set up. I do need to go through and lay this kind of on the block and figure out on this head here, run me a wire for a temp sensor. I need to do that. And then once I do that, it'll come up here to this bundle. These are all dash wires, OBD2 port, all that stuff. Then we have all the stuff here. This is going to the fuse block and relay center. I got to order that still. I don't have it. Then we have this bundle, which is cruise control. My 92 GMC has factory cruise control. So hopefully all of the wires are already up there for that module for like the set, resume and stuff, and the brake switch. That should be all up there. I'll have to check the schematic real quick. But I'm planning to mount the pedal box and the cruise control location. That's a good spot for them. And then I'm going to get a diesel pedal for that truck because it's a direct bolt in. It's just the same pedal that I'm using on my 83 truck. So hoping to regain cruise control, and I'd like to have cruise control and air conditioning on this truck. The LS computer is not going to control the air conditioning at this point. For the fans, I will probably have a secondary kick on for them. Maybe this it will be like the high side, just only run one fan when the air conditioning's on. But yeah, right now we're not going to be running the AC through the LS harness. It wouldn't be real hard to do through the LS harness. I think you need a trinary switch for the AC, and you can actually, there's a bunch of different write-ups on how to get the computer to help control the AC. And like if you're doing wide open accelerations, it'll actually cut the air conditioning off at a certain RPM, and you can adjust that in the tune. And when we get to putting air conditioning on this engine, we will probably go ahead and do that. But as right now, I'm just going to get it in the truck, try to get the truck running, and drive a little bit and see how it's going to handle it, because it should be a lot more enjoyable to drive than the 4.3 that's in it right now, the V6. I would hope. It definitely has more torque and more horsepower, and should actually probably get better fuel mileage than the 4.3. I don't know. Depends. I don't know what gear ratio is in the rear of the truck, so I do have to figure that out. That's one thing that I am concerned, being it is a 4.3 V6. I don't know if the rear end is heavy, so hopefully it will handle the power of the 5.3 just stock form, because this is completely stock motor. Other than it's going to have long tube headers and one of the LS X knockoff intake, the Dorman style intake. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and probably add my wire to that, and then start test taping all this up until I run out of test tape. I have more ordered, but I'm sure I'll be able to burn right through that. I'm only going to do part way up on my O2s, because I don't know with long tubes where they're going to end up. I'll definitely probably end up shortening the the passenger side one a bit, and then might have to lengthen the driver side one a bit. I don't know. I may actually pull the engine out and around here and kind of get everything set up on the motor. I do actually want to get this engine down on this stand, which actually, if I really wanted to, I need to find someplace to set it, like on a board or something. And I can bring my engine crane in here and I can actually get this engine off the stand, get it mated up to the engine, or not, get the engine mated up to the transmission, and then it'll be pretty much ready to set in. This intake's coming off. I'm not running this intake. Like I said, I got a different intake. Other than cleaning up the rails and the fuel lines. I'll have to do some modification for the fuel system in the truck. Obviously, the pump is not going to handle this setup, so I'm going to have to put a new pump in it. And then I am going to put probably a pretty good sized pump in it. And then I'm going to do probably a regulator up on the firewall for the returns. I'll use the stock TBI lines and stuff because they're plenty big. We won't be, they're not E85 rated or anything, so if I ever do want to do E85, I'll have to change out my lines, or at least the rubber portion of the lines anyways, which I can do. I could cut off the flares, or cut off the ends for the rubber lines, because I'm not 100% sure. If they're all pushed together, like push lock or metric connected, I can just take all the rubber lines off and make my own AN E85 rated line. So that shouldn't be too hard to do in the future. But yeah, this truck motor does have a lot of eBay parts on it. So we'll see how that goes. Got this steam vent connection off there, pretty relatively cheap. We'll see how that holds up. I got a new, we're keeping that water pump. I'll probably clean it up a bit. I got a new thermostat for it. Motor mounts, transmission mount, all that stuff. I got all that stuff here. The only thing I don't have is headers. I might go ahead and get them ordered. I've definitely got to get my fuse block for my harness ordered. But I'd like to have this engine in this truck relatively quick. I have a couple projects that aren't mine going to be coming in the shop here. I've got to finish up the 1000 Ranger. I'll probably do that before I pull it in. But there's another project. I got to put some axles possibly in my dad and mine's 900 Ranger because it's been making some noise lately. But then I have a square body coming in. It'll be kind of cool. It's another LS swap I'm doing for a guy, and it's 81 or 2, I think, 4-speed. So we're going to do a 5.3 4-speed, 208, I think. Transfer case, don't quote me on it. I think it actually has 76 running gear underneath it, so it's probably 205 transfer case. But we'll see when we get here. We'll go over it. I'm probably do a video settings on it. We have the 1-ton truck too that we're doing, so yeah, we've got all kinds of projects going on. Just don't have time for all these projects, but I'd like to get at least this engine in that truck, because if I get this engine in and this transmission in, it gets it out of my shop, gives me a little more room. Then hopefully this summer we can get this thing set in here kind of sideways or an angle, so I can go ahead and work on this bad boy. And I'd like to have this thing running and driving by midsummer or fall, so I can drive it a little bit this year. But we'll see. So yeah, guys, I'll cut you guys on. I'll probably do a time lapse of test taping this bad boy. Alright guys, there in the last time lapse you seen me get the passenger side pretty much completed. Everything's test taped. These will be hooked down and probably those, and it'll just get a little bit better laid out and everything will be nicely done up. This is going to get the cover over the top of the new intake. This should set pretty, that's still got the provisions for all this stuff, so it should set pretty good. I actually should have pulled this intake off and just sat the other intake up here for mocking up purposes. But I did go ahead and test tape some of this, so when I figure out however long this needs to be, I can just test tape to it, and that's good. Test tape the accelerator plug, all the injectors, the coil wire, the ground for the block that goes right here, test taped the O2 down pretty far. I'm hoping that actually is about how long the O2 is going to have to be. It'll run down here and run like that probably to it. The O2 will probably hang out right about there. I think there's a boss on the transmission. I got to be careful to where I'm running it, but I think actually if I might be able to this has got like a threaded bolt hole. I should be able to tap that or put a screw in it, because there's like this one over here. You can put another one of them in there and build me like a little bracket that's got a thing to hold my wire. So that should be good there. I did the map sensor. They ran it up to where it comes together right there. So that's all tested taped on this side. I'm gonna call it a night for tonight. It's getting kind of late. I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and I gotta test tape the transmission wires up, the park neutral safety switch. I got to do the other O2 sensor. I think this one's actually going to be long enough. It seems like it's now that's out of the harness. It should be long enough, because at worst it'll come around the bell housing, and I can set it right here, and the O2's got the wire linked on it too, so I should be fine there. Then I can get it tested taped. I'm gonna go ahead and test tape the PCM wires, because I don't think I'll add anything to it, and if I do add anything to the PCM, it'll be for like the air conditioning. That'll be its own little circuit, so it'll be sent off a different direction anyways. Then I will work on getting a weather pack connection on this. Then I'll work on getting all of I gotta do the crank sensor and starter wire and this other engine ground and the temp sensor. I need to do all those, and then I will press some heat tape on them down there. Then I can bring it up here, and then I can work on doing the fuse block, and everything will be good there. And then the harness will be 99% completed and be ready to be put in the truck and added onto. So yeah, I'll cut you guys back on when I get to work on this a bit more. Alright guys, I got all the main harness wrap that goes to the block, everything up to where it starts getting into where the fuse block's going to be in the PCM. I'll probably go ahead and do the PCM and this and tape to here. I can probably tape these down too, and most of this stuff will get taped to and back. Everything is labeled, cruise control as well, and the throttle module. They'll all get taped up. Probably not gonna do that tonight. It's getting kind of late again. Just been kind of work on this a little bit here and there at night. But this seems like it's gonna work. This has to run behind the alternator and everything, so here. So I think it's gonna work. This goes to the alternator. It also has to run behind the power steering and all that. So I think this is gonna work because this actually hooks to the ground bracket here. I think it used to run through this loop, so that'll be all right. This actually ran underneath the engine here on the pan. I will probably be taking this off because I won't be using this because there's no place for this to mount in the pan. So I'll probably find something or some way to attach the wires to the block so they can run nice and stay together and kind of like the factory way. Clamps like this and this will be replaced with push retainer zip ties, like it has the tab like that, just so I can get a better secure like connection. I'm thought about zip tying. If I would have done this right, I brought this injector around and brought it out and pointed it out of this harness, pointed it down that way, then I could zip tie the injectors to the rail. Even though like this isn't a bad way to do it, this will just hang out and I'll zip tie that there. Passenger side, like I said, got all the transmissions done. Only thing is the O2s, gotta make sure I can shorten them. So that's plenty long, I'm sure, for the, even when I put long tubes on it. Temperature sensor, MAF, same way with it, not sure how long it needs to be, so not gonna completely tape it up. Throttle body connection, because this is not the stock throttle body for this motor. It has a drive-by wire, so it's around here somewhere. But I just have this mechanical one on here because I was using my computer and harness that's already flashed and already standalone to let this run on the engine stand. And that's kind of what I do with all of them. I'm probably gonna end up using that PCM, and I want to build brackets for a radiator and maybe a bracket. I already have this made up for my little fuel system. I want to build some gauges, oil pressure gauges, temperature gauge, and I can have a radiator and everything, and I can build me an LS engine test stand. Basically, I can let it sit here and run for a long period of time. Maybe get some stock manifolds and stock Y pipe or something, and build me a nice some exhaust with a muffler on it so it's not as loud. And then they can, like, if I put head gaskets in, I can break in head gaskets and different stuff like that. But yeah, so I ordered the fuse block last night, so it should be getting here. It says it'll be here Friday, so hopefully it'll be here so I can start wiring the fuse block up. Once that's done, the harness will be completed. It'll be ready to go in the truck. Then I'll just have to get the truck in here and start pulling the 4.3 out of it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably end this video because it's gone on long enough, but we're making decent headway on this setup. So yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.